Hi to Ho students, Mr. Kaczynski with you. We're going to solve some three-step equations, also known as equations with variables on both sides. All right, let's get after it. Okay, so I'm going to take maybe a slightly different approach to this. We want to figure out what x is, okay? That's our bottom line. That's what we're trying to do. But before we do that, I mean, the first thing when we've got variables on both sides is we need to get them all on the same side. So what I'm going to do is get rid of this 3.6x over here. Whenever I do that, I have to subtract it from the left side as well. So 7.2x minus 3.6x is 3.6x. Okay, so that gives me 3.6x plus 8.4 equals just 22.8, because when you subtract something from itself, it's 0, and 0 plus 22.8 is 22.8. Okay, at this point, we've got a two-step equation, okay? So the next thing I'm going to want to do is get just the 3.6x by itself. And then once I do that, I can get the x by itself. All right, so the question is, how am I going to do that? Well, let's get rid of this 8.4. That would give me the 3.6x all by itself. Okay, but I would also have to do it over here. And then before I even do that, let's think about what we're going to do over here. To get rid of this 3.6, the opposite of that of multiplying by 3.6 is to divide by 3.6. So that would just leave me with the x. So whatever this result comes out to, I'm going to divide it by 3.6. So now that we've determined our plan of action here, we can go ahead and execute it. 22.8 minus the 8.4 gives us 14.4. And then if I just divide that by 3.6, I get 4, which should be my answer. And we can check that by putting it into the original equation. 7.2 times x plus 8.4 and 3.6 times x plus 22.8. That also gives me 37.2. So since when x is 4, both sides of the equation equal 37.2, this is the solution to this equation. All right, let's try it again. So the first thing I want to do is get all the x terms on the same side. So I'm going to get rid of this negative 17.5x by adding it to both the right side and the left side. Okay, so negative 7.5x plus 17.5x is just 10x. Do not type the x into the calculator. You don't need to do that. So it's 10x minus 15 equals just the 85, because the whole point of that step was to get the negative 17.5x off of the right side. Okay, so now I've got a two-step equation. I want to try and get 10x by itself. And then if I can get 10x by itself, I can get x by itself. Okay, I'm trying like a new tactic here. New way of explaining it anyway. All right, so how am I going to get the 10x by itself? I'm going to add 15 to both sides to get rid of that 15. How am I going to get rid of that 10? I'm going to divide by 10. And if I do it on the left, I also have to do it on the right. Okay, so that's my plan. Why add 15? Because negative 15 plus 15 is 0. Why divide by 10? Because 10 divided by 10 is 1. All right, so let's go. 85 plus 15 is 100. And 100 divided by 10 is 10. Check our answer. Negative 7.5 times x minus 15 is negative 90. Negative 17.5 times x plus 85 is also negative 90. So I know I've got the right answer. So in summary, to solve equations with variables on both sides, the first thing you do, number one, is get all the x terms on the same side. I did that in this one by adding 17.5x to both sides. Then you undo the addition and subtraction. So I added 15 to both sides. Then I undid the division and multiplication, dividing both sides by 10. If you got to watch the video one more time, do it. I know I went kind of fast. If you got questions, let me know. Have a good one.